Okay, we're back. Bill Hoy. What in the world's going on? My YouTube channel. Military's a death cult. I was a member of a death cult. I was a member of a cult. I was a cult member. And I really want to say, I really want to say one thing here. Pretty much almost all of these things that I'm talking about in these videos about the death cult, the military, you go to any recruiter and ask them this stuff, they'll come right out and tell you most of this stuff. They're not going to get as deep into it, but they'll come right out and tell you all this stuff. They'll come right out and tell you it's about breaking you down and turning you into, it's basically, they'll come right down and tell you that it's about you not being you anymore. You're going to be one of them. They'll come right out and tell you. They'll come right out and tell you all these methods. They'll come right out and tell you. Because people aren't conscious in this country and this world for that matter. But people aren't conscious in this country. People don't look at this as horrible. People don't look at this as terrible. People look at this as, oh wow, this is great. A bunch of people marching together in formation, looking the same, acting the same. It's fucking frightening, man. That anyone who's truly conscious, the very sight of that should fucking frighten somebody. It really should. It really should. Unbelievable. Let's continue. Once again, anybody's interested in this kind of stuff, by all means, let's try to do something. Try to start a conference or something. Maybe we can start our own conference and start, getting the word out to people, man. Pretty good. Climate engineering, folks. Climate engineering out there. Climate engineering. Total climate engineering, man. Not to say that all the calamities that are happening in the world wouldn't happen without climate engineering, but once again, just look at just recently, what's today, 3/7/2020, and it wasn't too long ago, a couple days ago, tornadoes ripped through Tennessee, and I think a good amount of people were killed. And once again, folks, that's the military. Climate engineering programs are the military. That's the death cult. And once again, not to say that there never were tornadoes before climate engineering, and people never died from tornadoes before climate engineering. It absolutely did happen. But once you start manipulating the climate system, whether it's those tornadoes happen as a side effect or from a direct effect of something that the climate engineers were doing, that's on that's immoral. And that's on these climate engineers and these pilots flying these planes, these order followers, which are, once again, they're military members. This is a military operation. Look up the history of weather warfare and climate engineering. Look up the history. It's all military. It's all based in the military, along with certain universities, Harvard, Stanford, but it's all military. Shame. Those pilots flying those planes, I don't know. I don't know how you look yourselves in the mirror. I really don't. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how the pilots of these planes, flying these airplanes, emitting these nanoparticles into the upper atmosphere. I don't know how you look at yourselves in the mirror. I don't know how you look your children in their eyes. People are dying because of these operations. People are dying. The ultimate weapon is weather warfare. Because a military can attack people without the people even knowing they are attacked. I'm just beside myself with this climate engineering. This situation is so dire, folks. Look up, I mentioned in some of my other videos, geoengineeringwatch.org, but also Carnicom Institute. Look up Clifford Carnicom. Look up Jeff Rentz as well. I don't know if I mentioned those two as well in my videos, but they're also very good. A lot of information about this stuff. You know, I mean, here's a big problem, folks. I mean, why does the military have to raise young men into adulthood? You know, why does the military have to raise young men into adulthood? Shouldn't that be the job of parents? Shouldn't a young man already be a man? I mean, think about how stupid that is. I mean, really. I mean, how many times have we heard people say that, you know, an 18, 19, or 20-year-old needs to be taught how to be a man? The military is going to teach him how to be a man. He's 20 years old, dude. Shouldn't he be a man already? Don't you think he should be a man by now? I mean, look, I know that an 18, 19, 20-year-old is not as... I mean, well, really, there aren't really many real men in our society in America anymore, really. But from an experience perspective, I mean, you know, obviously an 18, 19, 20-year-old's not going to be as seasoned in experience as a 28, 29, 30-year-old or a 38, 39, 40-year-old, okay, and so on and so forth. But I mean, all 18, 19, and 20-year-olds should already have the basic fundamental foundation of what it is to be a man. What is that? That's the sacred masculine. Knowing and understanding, let me try to simplify it. Knowing and understanding what rights are and what natural law is, and aligning themselves with it. And if they see that others are not following along with natural law, calling those people out on that. That'd be a start. I mean, I could do 20 videos about this, but there's a lot of information out there about that too. I mean, oh, the military's gonna take my son and show him how to be a man. Dude, that was supposed to be your job, buddy. That's what a lot of these fathers I hear, the military's gonna make him a man. Shouldn't that have been your job, jerk off? I mean, seriously. Basically admitting that you're a failure of a father. That's sorry, man. You know, when are parents gonna start raising their children to become mature adults? I'd say from the looks of things, never. For most people, not all. I mean, you know, this has been going on for generations. In America, Dire Situation, I talk about how we're at where we're at because of what's been going on for thousands of years, but it's been accelerated within the last 200, 100 years. And I talk about that. But, you know, most kids are removed from their parents, in a sense, for a period of the day. And raised by school systems, raised by the state. You know, I know someone who works at a daycare program. These kids aren't even of school age yet. These kids are like 3 and 4, and these parents these parents aren't even in these kids' lives. Both mother and father. This person that I talked to, she basically says, I'm raising these little kids. How about that? I mean, this person I know is a good-hearted person, but how do you know who's really raising your kid? And you know what the crazy thing is? You know what she tells me? Many of these parents aren't even really that busy. They're at home, or they're like just having time with themselves. You got a 3-year-old, dude. You got a 4-year-old. People are more concerned with, you know, hey, you know what it's about, folks. It's just, here's my little trophy, and what does this have to do with the military? I was a member of a death cult. It has a lot to do with I was a member of a death cult, because a lot of what I'm talking about here is how I was raised, and I became a member of a death cult because my parents abandoned me. kids become members of death cults and all cults because of abandonment. Abandonment, either directly, completely, a parent not being there, or a combination, or a parent, psychologically, emotionally abandoning a child, or a combination of all those factors. I'm telling you folks, these controllers of our world, they're only controllers of our world because we allow them to control us, they know these things. These think tanks, these mainstream news stations, they all know this stuff. They all know this stuff. We don't. Again, I'm getting a little off. Not really off. I'm on. I was a member of a death cult, and I'll just continue. Despite the certain aspects of responsibility and punctuality, which can be markers of maturity, anyone who blindly follows orders is not an adult or mature. There you go. Doesn't matter whether I show up at work on time, and I perform the task of my job, whatever it is. I'm not talking about in the military. Maybe I'm talking about people who, when they get out of the military and they assimilate into normal society, But anyone who blindly follows orders is not an adult or mature. And actually, you know what I'm talking about in the military. We were taught responsibility. We were taught punctuality, which are good markers of maturity. Once again, we're blindly following orders. That's not a marker of maturity. That's what a child does. That's what a child does. A child wants to follow orders. That's what children do. Children follow orders. Children want an order. And what do? We raise our children with that ideology. And they become members of death cults. The cult of the military was perfect for me because I was scared to death to have to make decisions for myself. I was scared to death to make decisions for myself. Real important decisions. Scared to death. I wanted so bad for someone to just give me an order so I could go do something. And I felt that my self-worth was, when I get that order, I'm going to do that order exactly to the T, perfectly. Boy, was I raised to be a brainwashed member of a cult. I couldn't wait to get an order. Couldn't wait. I loved following orders when we were out in the field and stuff. Loved it. Good God. It's frightening. Couldn't wait to get an order. Loved following orders. Loved it. Gave me a sense of comfort. And, that's how I would value myself, based on how well I followed orders. Terrible. And of course, I received some medals while I was in the military, and made me feel wonderful about myself, but not enough. Not enough. There was too much self-loathing inside of me. No outside object could make me feel better about myself. And that's why I ran into trouble in the military, because I to alleviate that inner pain and self-loathing, I would use substances to alleviate that, and those substances were not allowed because the military claimed ownership of my body, and they didn't want all of our bodies and didn't want us using that stuff. So I ran into trouble there. Thank God. I got kicked. Thank you, Death Cult, for kicking me out. Thank you very much. Thank you. Can't tell you how happy I am that you kicked me out. Went over all this. I'm going to continue with this in the next video. This is pretty good. Alright, folks. See you later. Next video.